Okay, so now let's go ahead and see as to what we did in the previous session. In the previous session, we spoke about Pandavas getting ready for the Rajasuya Yajna. Lord Sri Krishna gave words of wisdom to Yudhishthira and how one needs to prepare for a war. All of this was discussed in our previous meeting. And now, as you all know, we are in this series, we are actually discussing the pearls of wisdom that Sri Krishna actually gives to everyone in Mahabharata. So, last time we saw how how Pandavas were getting ready for the Rajasuya Yajna, how Krishna gives his words of wisdom with respect to Jarasandha, how he asks Yudhishthira to prepare a war and everything. But after that, from there till here, I mean to say, to where we are, what we are going to speak today, we see that a lot has happened in both Indraprastha and Hastinapura, both the places, because Pandavas won all over the world and they now have all the kingdom. Yudhishthira became the Samrat. He also performed the Rajasuya Yajna very well. And in this Yajna, what happens is that we see that Kauravas, they were invited. We see that the Kauravas, they were invited by Duryodhana. The Kauravas were invited by Duryodhana and sorry, the Kauravas were invited. We even see that even Duryodhana is invited, and sorry, it was not Kauravas being invited by Duryodhana. Actually, Kauravas are invited, and Dharmaraja only or Yudhishthira only invites them for the Rajasuya Yajna. They come, and predominantly we see that Duryodhana has come, and he along with his entire Saparivara, he is there. And we all know the sort of person Duryodhana is, and you know how we see the way the Duryodhana's jealousy actually goes up in this, and then we also get to see this wonderful Maya Sabha uh, uh, happening there. Duryodhana and of all the people, I don't know why Dharmaraja wanted to do this, but Dharmaraja ends up doing this interesting thing where he actually asks Duryodhana to be the person who collects the gifts. And as the sort of person Duryodhana is, his jealousy has already shorted up, and in the Maya Sabha, when they are moving from one place to another place, they fall down. And here Bhimasena laughs. Many people think that it is Draupadi who laughed, but no, it was not Draupadi who laughed. It was Bhimasena who laughs, and Duryodhana takes home this grudge. Okay, and finally the yajna gets completed. And at the end of the yajna, there is this discussion regarding who should get the agratambula, or who should be considered as the biggest and the best of all the people who have assembled there. And here they realize that the biggest and the best person to actually take that agratambula is Sri Krishna. Bhishmacharya proposes his name. It is here that the Kauravas have a lot of reservations, but Bhishma's word prevails, and this is where Shishupala comes out, and he says that, you know, no, 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 how can you give this entire great thing to a Yadava and all that stuff? But then the Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira goes with the words of Bhishmacharya. Bhishmacharya realizes that Sri Krishna is the supreme consciousness that we have. It's the Paripurnavatara. That's what Bhishmacharya realizes, and that's what Bhishmacharya actually tells the Pandavas also, that, you know, he is the person. So you have to go and do the first puja to him and give the agradambulam to him. Now this is where Shishupala, like, he totally loses the whole thing. He comes out, he starts abusing everyone, he starts insulting Sri Krishna, like anything. Sri Krishna starts counting, he keeps a count till he gets 100, and once he touches 100, he kills Shishupala with the Sudarshana Chakra. And that's how the and once that happens, after Shishpala's death, again peace returns to that place. And everybody now understands, um, the importance of Sri Krishna. Everybody realizes it except for the Kauravas and the Dushta Chatushtaya. Who are the Dushta Chatushtaya? The Dushta Chatushtaya, these are not names given by me. Dushta Chatushtaya are Duryodhana, Dushasana, and then we have uh, Sai Garu. If you can just go on mute, sir. We have Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, and Shakuni. Again, this is what Vedavyasa called as Dushta Chatushtaya, not someone else giving them a certificate. So these four are there. They are really, really pained by whatever has happened till here. And after everyone leaves, here is an important secret with respect to Mahabharata that we all need to remember. Once the Rajasuya Yajna is complete, all the people leave, but there is one man who does not leave, who comes to Yudhishthira and tells him or gives him a secret. That man is Vedavyasa. He comes over there and says, "Oh Yudhishthira, normally itself Rajasuya Yajna, when it is complete, it brings a lot of pain to the king or the samrat who did it. In your case, the trouble was was not just that, but the blood also got spilled in the Rajasuya Yajna in the form of Shishpala Vadha. Hence, please understand and please realize that you will be suffering for the next 13 to 14 years. 13 plus years is what is told. So please be very careful. Please be very careful with respect to your kingdom. Saying this, he leaves. Now Yudhishthira is totally absorbed in this thought. He is thinking about what sort of tragedy might come and afflict his kingdom. And so he starts making a list of all the people who can harm him or the kingdom. And then he realizes that there is nobody else except Kauravas who can do some sort of bad to him and the kingdom. Okay, they are the people who can basically wreak havoc, right? So he realizes that these are the only enemies that are there. So he is now very, very careful as to what he wants to do and how he wants to deal about this whole picture. On the other hand, let us now just leave Yudhishthira in his ruminations right now, and let us move across to this place called Hastinapura, where we have the Kauravas. Now, this Dushta have called back for a meeting. Shakuni devises a plan. He says, we will call Pandavas for Dyuta Krida. Now, what is Dyuta Krida? Dyuta Krida is a game of dice. Okay. Where you play with all that. Nowadays, people are playing it online as well, right? So that's the Dyuta Krida, where you have a set of pawns given to you, and with the dice that you throw, you will have to go in such a way that your pawns actually survive the whole game. So that's how you play that game. So that's the Dyuta Krida, to which Shekuni, because Shekuni is an expert in Dyuta Krida, like we have experts in Mahabharata who are an expert in their own individual domains. So, for example, Arjuna in Dhanurvidya, Bhishmacharya in Dhanurvidya, Dronacharya in Dhanurvidya, Balarama in Gada, both Bhima and Duryodhana also great in Gada Yuddha. So this way, the expert. So many people put this a lot of importance on the Maya part in the Maya Juda. That is there. That's very, very true. And the way that happens also, I'll try to explain how they cheat the dice so that they can win. Shakuni, there are multiple stories on Shakuni also, on how he plays Maya Juda and all. But let me be very clear, Shekuni is an expert in that game. He knows how to play the game very well. We can sort of think that he practiced it probably every day and night for hundreds of times, where he could become an expert in that particular game. So that's how he is an expert. And apart from that, the cheating part that he does is, so when they make these dice, right, many people they have this stories which unfortunately are kalpitas, which are not 100% true. So many people make this story that Shakuni made these dice or pachikas with with the bones of his fathers and all. Well, that's not the truth. Um, uh, we know that they are normal pachikas that were made, but how they cheat is on the pachikas on which Dharmaraja's name is written. So there are two sets of dice which are there. One set of dice which are used for Duryodhana, one set of dice which are used for Dharmaraja. On the Dharmaraja's dice, Shekuni make sure that the weight is increased in what particular area where one keeps coming constantly. So if you keep scoring only one, you are a sitting duck in the game of dice. So this is what Shekuni does to Dharmaraja. He intentionally increases the weight on one side so that always one turns up, always one set of numbers turn up. This is what Shekuni does so that the Pachikas on Dharmaraja's side are bad, and unfortunately, Dharmaraja never gets to check the other person's dice. So, this is what happens. Again, now let us come back. So, Shekuni, who is an expert in this Dyuta Krida, he says, we will play this, we will defeat Pandavas in this, we will rob them of their kingdom, we will take everything that they have. So, let us invite them. Now this invitation goes to Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja now realizes that if I that he has two options basically. He can either go and participate in this Dyuta Krida. If he participates, well, he might lose a set of money or something, because that's the biggest thing that can happen to him. On the contrary, if he rejects this and if he picks up a fight with Hastinapura, that will cause a bigger loss, because a lot of men, because a war would kill a lot of people and a war would waste a lot of resources. So he thinks that than getting into a war like that, it is always better to go and participate in Yuddha Krida. Now again, there are a lot of people who come and say that Dharmaraja was a gambler and all. No, that's like a big pivotal mistake if anyone says so. Never ever believe such things. That in entire Mahabharata, we never see Dharmaraja playing the game of dice. Those days, the custom was that you either invite them for Yuddha or Dhyuta. So inviting for a Dyuta Krida or for a game of dice was as good as inviting for a war also. So, and if you cannot escape an invitation for war, because the other person would start it anyway. If you are not hitting a game of dice, that also means equal disrespect, due to which Dharmaraja obliges. And the second part is these words of Veda Vyasa, they are playing heavily on the mind of Dharmaraja. That's where Dharmaraja realizes that he should now go and participate in this Dyuta Krida. Okay. Now Yudhishthira goes, and he participates in the game of dice. He wanted to avoid war under any circumstances. That's why he went there. Now he goes there. We all know what happens in that game of dice. I told you how he was cheated, how the dice that were given to him itself were faulty in the first place. He loses everything, and here Draupadi, he loses everything. He becomes a dasa. Here, these idiots, these Kauravas, they actually, I'm using the word idiots because I am just not able to fathom whatever they did to Draupadi. So here again, a lot of people say that it was Duryodhana's idea to bring Draupadi into the court. Many people say many things, but it was actually Karna's idea. Please understand, because Karna actually calls Draupadi as Bandhaki. Bandhaki is a word whose true translations I don't want to use in any proper forum, because that almost means that almost talks about a characterless woman sort of thing. So we should not talk such words. So that's a very bad word to be used. Karna uses that word, and then he says he eventually says this. I mean, he exactly says that this lady has married 5 people, so there is no wrong, there is nothing wrong if she marries one more. So this sort of words he uses, and he insults her, and he says, he actually says, your husbands are not able to save you right now. You better go and marry someone else. So that sort of very bad language is used against Draupadi Ma. Uh, Draupadi Ma is extremely enraged, but then Dushasana then goes ahead with the disrobing and all that stuff, which is extremely bad. Duryodhana hits on his thigh and says, asks her to come and sit on his thigh, and all those bad things happen. This is when Sri Krishna comes and saves Draupadi Ma. Once she is saved, all of a sudden this news goes to Gandhari. She comes running. She's extremely angry that things have come to this low. They have stooped this low in the house, and then she asks for forgiveness, and she immediately grants 2 boons. She's enraged at the sort of bad things that have been done to a woman, and she warns all the Kauravas, saying that they are playing with fire because they are actually touching a Pativrata, wonderful lady, the Gandhari, who comes and tries to instill sense in that hall where everyone, including Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, everyone is silent. Dhritarashtra, obviously, he is hand in glove with all of them. He is anyway silent, but it's Gandhari who comes there and says, this is wrong, and this is where she gives the boons. Draupadi Ma takes the boons, and then she says, as the first vara or the first boon, she asks that they all should be removed from this slavery. And second, she takes her kingdom back. And then Kauravas again invite them for Anudyuta. Anudyuta is where this game of dice happens, and there is only one the condition this time: whoever loses, they have to go for a 12-year Aranyavasa and 1 year Ajnatavasa. This again happens. Pandavas lose. Now Pandavas are back in the forest. This is where Krishna comes. So this last 20-21 minute a speech of mine was only setting the context for what Krishna is going to say and how he would do a sort of post mortem for the crisis in which Pandavas are. Okay, let us go there. Now, Pandavas start the exile. They immediately fight a Asura, I think Kimira Asura. That's so that I think that's whom they fight there, and from there they are here advised. They go to this a nice place called Pramana Koti Tirtha. There, their Purohita, who is called Dhaumya, he says, "O Dharmaraja, if we have to feed or if you have to live in this forest for a long time, and for sure people are going to come and visit you because you are a samrat, you lived like a samrat for a long time. So I think you should now do a penance for Surya and uh, and take his boon so that you get unlimited food in the forests." Then this is what our Dharmaraja does. Immediate Dharmaraja is such a wonderful person. He is such a great person that Surya immediately comes over there and he gives them an Akshaya Patra, and he says, um, this Akshaya Patra will keep giving food till Draupadi has eaten that day. So if Draupadi is waiting till the last person, everyone who is coming to visit Pandavas, they would be getting food. And but once Draupadi has eaten, the food won't come. So that sort of Akshaya Patra is given. Now ISKCON guys are running a wonderful initiative of feeding a lot of poor people in the name of Akshaya Patra. Fantastic thing. And quite succinctly and beautifully, they also have this Akshaya Patra on the same golden pot on their logo, which is really a wonderful thing to do. Kudos to them. Wonderful whoever got this idea. Now in this forest, Vidura first visits them. He gives them their commiserations and then tells them that don't lose hope and all. After this, Sri Krishna comes. Sri Krishna visits Pandavas, and Sri Krishna does not come alone. So this is the first thing that we need to understand. as to what we should do when we are visiting a house that is plagued by crisis. Take a few near and dear, go stand with them and tell them that we all are there with you. This is the first message that Krishna gives to all of us without speaking a word. Whom all did Krishna take with him? He takes the Bhojas, the army of the Bhojas, all the Bhoja generals, the Vrishnis, Krishna's own clans, and then the Andhakas. He takes all these three clans with him, goes to the Pandavas, and makes a statement not just to Pandavas but to the entire world, saying that this is what I am doing. We are all there with Pandavas. So that's the first thing he does. He goes there and once and look at this year. I mean, you are in a very bad crisis. You are all like really sad, feeling sad. You are like feeling alone. You know you are cheated, and at that moment, a person comes to you not just alone, but he brings his whole army or his whole friends and says, and comes to you and says, we are all there with you. Just look at the confidence that you would gain out of it. And Krishna does this. I mean, he is the Jagat Guru. He teaches us in every action of Krishna, in every action, every small thing that Krishna does, there is something for each and every one of us. I mean, every one of us can learn something or the other from it. Look at what Krishna did here. And now he comes, and then the moment he comes, look at what Lord Krishna is saying. He's saying, he just makes this declaration. The moment he is there, he makes this declaration. He says, one day we would anoint, he directly uses this word, one day we would anoint Yudhishthira as the king after Duryodhana, Shakuni, Karna, and Dushasana were slain in the battle. He says, there will be one day on which we are going to slay Duryodhana, we are going to kill Dushasana, we are going to kill Karna, we are going to slay Shakuni, we'll be killing all four of them, all of them. And then we are going to make Yudhishthira the righteous emperor. He is the one who deserves to be our emperor. He would be the emperor once again. Just look at the first statement of Krishna. And here he gives this sloka. I mean, as I told in the last session also, in every session of ours, whatever shlokas I am quoting, I am predominantly taking a help of this wonderful book called the Krishna Niti, which is written by Kushagra Aniket and Nityananda Mishra. They have done a very good work here. And I am taking those shlokas that they have quoted, and then I am also trying to infer as much as possible from Mahabharata and doing my slight value add, presenting them here. So, the sloka where he is exactly saying this is in the Aranya Parva, 12th Adhyaya, 7th sloka. Here Sri Krishna is saying, Nikrutyo pacharan vadhya esha dharma sanatana. We all say we belong to the Sanatana Dharma, we Sanatana Dharma, right? Here the line is coming, esha dharma sanatana. What does this mean? He who lives by cheating, Nikrutyo pacharan. That is a person who is living by cheating. Vadhyaha. That is what he deserves. He deserves to be punished by death. He deserves to be punished. Let us say he deserves to be punished. And this is Sanatana Dharma. This is what he's saying. This is Sanatana Dharma. Very clear in whatever he's saying, Sri Krishna. And please understand, Krishna himself has said that any sort of cheating is completely unacceptable. Hence, we all need to stay away from cheating. This is one thing. Please remember. And then again, remember this, Krishna did not waste even a single second, right? And this is how Lord works, because Lord, see, Bhagavan can take anything. He will forgive anything from our side, but two things he can't digest is, one, if we are going in the line of adharma; two, if we are trying to play games and trying to do cheating or do anything. I mean, if we are not fair, so dharma and fairness are the two most important qualities that a Lord looks for in us. So so as a devotee, when you are leading your life, remember two things. One, never ever go away from the path of dharma to try to be as fair as possible in your dealings. In everything you do, try to minimize cheating. Never ever do anything which is unfair to anyone. Okay? And see, the moment he comes, he declares that he's going to kill all the four in Drishtadrishtaya, right? That's what Lord is. That's how he operates. This is where Arjuna says, "You are the supreme Lord." Now, here you should get it out. There are two people till now in this session where we have said that these two people have told that Sri Krishna is the Lord. He is the Paripurna Avatara. One is Bhishma, one is Arjuna. Why is it that only and you look at when you look at the entire Mahabharata, these two people, along with Vidura also does this, but these two people predominantly keep telling that Krishna is God, Krishna is God, Krishna is God, whereas everybody else was looking at him like a mere mortal. Why? That is because the secret for this is in the education that Bhishma and Arjuna took. There is this wonderful, one of the wonderful acharyas who did this entire Bhagavad Gita pravachana in DTD. Is I think Kupa Vishwanath Shastri Gar Mahan Bhava, and he in one of his interpretations he says this. He tells us that when you look at Bhishma and Arjuna, both of them, they they're wonderful warriors, and as a warrior, when you are gifted with all these weapons and everything, right, and each of these weapons are based on mantras, uh, and what these and these people, they were trying to remember those mantras. They were doing some anusthana on a daily basis so that they remember the mantras in the time of battle and all. So for that they practice. Bhishma and Arjuna are easily the greatest archers of their times. Many people bring in a lot of others, but no, if you have to look at 1 and 2 in Mahabharata war as archers, uh, there might be a fight, but Arjuna is numero uno, followed by Bhishma. Third would be Dronacharya. Fourth would be Abhimanyu, in that order. So, of course, I'm not taking Krishna into account here because Krishna is for sure. I mean, Bhagavanta. So we'll not really pull him into all of this. So these were the greatest archers of the time, and since they had to do this practice every day, this mantra, when you do the manana of the mantra, when you keep chanting the mantra, it starts cleaning stuff inside you, and your chitta shuddhi gets awakened. And once your chitta shuddhi is there, where your heart is becoming very clean, you start seeing God. You start seeing God in the form that He's coming out. So that's where Bhishma and Arjuna, they both see Krishna as the supreme God very quickly. And then Draupadi also sees, but Draupadi is an Ayonija, Draupadi, man, she's a Pativrata. So all these things come naturally to women because if they are doing their Pativratya, there is nothing bigger than Pativratya. Unfortunately, today people might call me an old-fashioned person for saying this, but there is nothing bigger than Pativratya. The moment they do this, once they follow the oath of Pativratya, they will be able to realize God very quickly, even quicker than most men. Unless I mean most yogis also. So Pativratya is so powerful. Draupadi is a Pativrata, so she also sees Krishna as God, and Krishna actually comes back and helps her. So she comes, she starts crying in front of Krishna, and Krishna then says, "Don't worry, your tormentors will get punished. You don't worry." And then, but Draupadi says, "It is not about punishing someone or the other. Krishna, I am not able to forget as to what all happened to me that day. That is, it's there in my mind. I'm not able to get rid of it." Now look at how carefully she's saying this. And this, I mean, if you make a woman suffer so much, and if you think your kingdom and all are going to stay with you, I mean, that's a separate level of foolishness. I think that's what Kauravas are going to pay for in the war that's going to come. After both these things are done, and Krishna now promises her, he says to her, "Oh Draupadi, everybody who tormented you, all your tormentors, they are going to be killed. They are going to be killed, and you are going to be the queen of this entire Bharatavarsha on one day. The Indraprastha kingdom, you are going to be the queen one day. You are going to be the Samrajni again. Don't worry about it." So that's what Krishna says. And now he moves towards Yudhishthira. Now let us look at what Krishna is saying again very carefully. He says, Veerasena sutoyaistu rajyat prabhramsita pura atarkita vinasascha devanena vishampate. This is the 13th adhyaya of Aranya Parva. This is the 5th shloka. He is saying to he is going towards Yudhishthira, Sri Krishna, and he's telling Sri Krishna, if I were there with you, if I were there with you, I would have narrated the ills of gambling to you. Because of this gambling, the king Nala, or son of Veerasena, lost his entire kingdom. I hope all of you already know the story of Nala and Damayanti. If you really want to hear that entire story once again, please let me know. We will do a separate episode on that. But for now, please remember Nala and Damayanti, Nala also gambles away the kingdom. He is invited for a gambling match by his own brother, where he loses. Then he loses even his clothes. Then one night he leaves his wife. He thinks that all this stuff is coming because of him. He leaves his wife. Then he is bitten by Karkotaka. From there, he goes and lives as as I think Bahuka in the kingdom of Rituparna. From there, he again goes. I mean, when the time comes, he again goes back and gets back Damayanti and all. But that's a very long story. That's because how gambling actually impacts him. And there is this famous shloka where which says Karkotakasya Nagasya Damayantya Nalasya Cha Rituparnasya Rajarshe Kirtanam Kalinasaran. If you remember all these people, Karkotaka, who is a serpent, Nala, Damayanti, and Rituparna, you will not have the problem of Kali in your life. So this is what has happened to Nala. Finally, Nala gets back Damayanti, gets back his kingdom also by defeating in the same game of dice the opponent. But again, if you are all interested, we will do a separate session for this later. We'll do the entire Nala Damayanti story again if you are all interested in it. But now this is what Krishna is telling. Krishna is telling, don't you know the story of Nala, who is the son of the great king Ushasena, who lost everything? O king, unimaginable destruction results from gambling. Please understand. And then Krishna is saying the following things also. He is telling, Striyoksha Mrugayapanam etat kama samutchitam dukkham chatushtayam proktam yair naro dasyate sriyah tatra sarvatra vaktavyam manyante shastrakovidah viseshatasya vaktavyam dyute pasyanti tadvidah. Krishna is saying, now Krishna is here. In this shloka, Krishna is talking about the four sorrows that come out of desire, that come out of kama. So there are four things that come out of kama, which will throw the person into unimaginable suffering. And what are those four things? The first one is lusting after women. I mean, I don't want to go beyond this, but lusting after women is the first thing. Then the second thing is gambling with dice. Third thing is hunting unnecessarily. And the fourth one is drinking. Uh, now you might say that, or no, the governments are encouraging, they are collecting a lot of tax from drinking and all, but no, drinking is considered one of the four biggest ills. So lusting after women. And again, I'm telling you, if by any stroke of bad luck, again I'm saying stroke of bad luck, if one gets into any of these four, coming out is hell. It's a very, very tough battle to fight. But if you are listening to this, my sincere request to all of you would be, please try to stay away from this as much as possible, from all four of these: lusting after women, gambling with dice, hunting for fun, and fourth one is drinking or consumption of anything that gives you a high, alcoholic drinks or something. I mean, in Hindi, any sort of nasha. Okay, so please stay away from this. This is what Krishna is saying. And yeah, how much ever we say, because these things, once they take over us, it's not that we are controlling them; they'll start control us. And now in these also, in these four also, Krishna is saying that the toughest one or the biggest one, a biggest sin is gambling. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "Dyutam chalayatamasmi." In the things that can break you, I am Dyuta, means I mean, gambling is the biggest of all of these which can bring you down. Because of this, a man falls from, he falls from grace. Krishna says, Visheshatascha Vaktavyam Dyute Pasyanti Tadvidaha. Of all these four, the biggest one to bring you down, it's again the game of dice. It's again Dyuta. Okay, those, okay, and and again Krishna is continuing. He's saying, he's talking about the ills even further. He's saying ekavo ekaho dravyanashotra ekaho. Please remember this. Aha is a day. Ekaho, in one day. That's what he's saying. Dravyanashotra, in one day you lose your entire mind. This is what Krishna is saying. Dhruvam vyasanamevacha. The moment it comes into your life, it becomes a vyasana, or something that it becomes such a bad habit that it starts controlling you. You can't come out of it. Abhuktanasascha ardhanam. See, once you have money, there are only three things that a man can do with his money. This is what they say. One is he enjoying that money. Two, he is doing dana or giving away the money. Or three, his money is taken away by someone else. With, when we are saying his money is taken away by someone else, it can be in the form of taxes, it can be in the form of, uh, what to say, it can be in the form of theft, robbery. Okay, in or he can gamble that whole thing out and he can lose. So in these ways only the money will go away. So one is enjoyment, second is doing dana or giving it away for charity, the third one is losing the money. So Krishna is saying, in one half you are going to lose the money. He's saying abhuktanasascha. This is money that you are not going to enjoy, but it is going to go away from you. Ardhanam. Ardhanam here means money. Vakparushyam cha kevalam. And at any point of time, if you are looking at a game of dice, the only thing that's going to happen there is nobody is going to talk good words. They're only going to talk about bad words. Look at the sort of slur, the sort of slang that comes out in the places where gambling happens, right? And then he's saying, Etas chanyascha kauravya prasangi katupodayam dyute bruyam mahabaho samasadhyanchi Samasadhyambika Sudam. So he again he's saying, I would have gone and told this to Ambika Sudha. Who is Ambika Sudha? Ambika Sudha is Dhritarashtra. So Krishna is saying, had I been there, I would have gone and told this to Dhritarashtra and asked him to stop this game of dice. Well, um, uh, let us analyze two important things here. The first important thing here is Krishna is calling a spade a spade. He is telling, he in no words, in no normal words, he is telling Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira that by going to this Yuddha, he has not done a right thing, that he has done a thing which is extremely wrong. So that's the first thing that he is telling to Yudhishthira. He is calling a spade a spade. But before that, he comforted him. So he is almost following, he is making a point, and he is also, but again, he's calling a spade a spade. Initially, he spoke softer words. He established his connection with the Yudhishthira in such a way that Yudhishthira is going to listen to whatever Krishna is saying. That was the first part. After that is done, he consoled Draupadi, saying that all her tormentors will be killed. Then he now comes to Yudhishthira, the man who played the game of dice, and he told him, never ever do this again in no unequivocal terms. I mean, he told it in unequivocal terms. He was like, it's like a straight line. He's saying, no, this is not supposed to be done. This is going to bring so XYZ, so many problems. All of them are going to come because of your Dyuta. And then he's saying, don't think that I'm just telling this to you. I would have gone and told the same thing to Dhritarashtra also, because both the parties have done a mistake by playing this game of dice. Now, you might ask, no, Kauravas have won. How did they, what did they lose in this game of dice? No. When you analyze the game of dice, so we have analyzed what Krishna said, how Krishna behaved, because everything in Krishna Avatara is a learning for us. So everything that Sri Krishna does, we have to learn. Now let us look at what happened to Pandavas. Okay, Pandavas, I mean, who they lost the game of dice. 13 years they suffered, 12 years of Aranyavasa, 1 year of Ajnatavasa. Then they went for a battle, they fought this battle. They have suffered heavy losses, but they became kings. So 14 years of suffering is what is there with Pandavas. Easily, because 13 plus all the time that took for the Yuddha, 18 days of war, the aftermath of war, the precursor to war, Pandavas suffered almost for 14 years. What happened to Kauravas? They enjoyed for 14 years? No, they did not enjoy it completely, because Duryodhana was trying to, dissuade them. Duryodhana was always thinking about what Pandavas are going to do, how they are going to come, how they are going to win. Hardly they enjoyed, but again he comes, he goes and fights, picks up a fight with Chitrasena in the Kaamyaka. Arjuna and Bhima have to come and rescue this entire Kaurava party who came there to do a picnic or something. That's where they feel sad once. And that entire Pandavas, Ajnatavasa, Duryodhana spends his whole time trying to figure out where Pandavas are. Again, his mind was gone. Finally, after those, in the 14th year, after 13 years or over, after in the 14th year, every living memory of Kauravas, everyone in that Kaurava, 100 people there, all of them died. Dushala, her husband, died. And Dhritarashtra, who sort of, who knew what was happening, turned a blind eye. He was blind, he turned a blind eye. What happened to him? For 16 years after the war, every day, the man who killed 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, he used to come and feed him. That's what that is Bhimasena. For 16 years, Bhimasena gave him the food. And every day, Bhimasena used to insult him. So for 16 years, he was eating food from the hand of the man who killed his own sons, and he was insulting him also on the face. That's what Dhritarashtra suffered. So look at one game of dice. Yuta, did it give happiness to anyone? No. These games, they don't. Gambling does not give happiness to anyone. It only gives you long-standing sadness. So this is Krishna's message here. Dyutam chalayatamasmi. If I have to bring you down, it would be Dyuta. Right? So this is what happens. And then Krishna also says, okay, I was not able to come and stop the game there because I was facing a war at that particular point of time. There was this man called Salva who came there and he was fighting with me, and he had a Vimana, Hawai Jahaj, aeroplane, a Vimana called Saubha. So our texts are speaking about flying objects even 5,000 years ago. If you are looking at Ramayana, it was even before that, it was lakhs of years ago. But then we knew the technology to make all of this at least till 5,000 years ago is what we can understand. At this point of time, Krishna also goes to Arjuna and says, "Oh Arjuna, don't waste time. Go perform penance and get Pashupata." Look at what Krishna is saying. On one way, he advised. He reassured everyone. He reassured Draupadi. He instilled wisdom. He did not hide his words when he was speaking to Yudhishthira. And then, because he knew that a war might come, till now there is no certainty that it would come, but he knew that this might come. So he was asking Arjuna to get prepared by getting the Pashupatastra, because see, in these wars, we have a Brahmastra. Brahmastra, if somebody is using a Brahmastra, if you also have a Brahmastra, you both can use those Brahmastras, and one can, stop the other. Then the next level of Astra is Narayanastra. Ashwadhama uses it. Narayanastra resembles the characteristic of Sri Mahavishnu, Narayana. What is there? What is the characteristic there? when that astra is used, if you are falling on the ground and praying to Narayana, that astra will not do anything. But if you want to face it, it will come to you with double the force. Same is the case with Vishnu Bhakti. Please try to understand. Same is the case with Vishnu Bhakti. You say Dasoham, that's what Vishnu wants. This is what even in Ramayana also Sakrudeva Prapannaya Tabasmitja Ite Shloka tells us. You do one time, you surrender yourself to Vishnu, Vishnu will take care of you. I mean, he'll not show his anger on you. But Pashupata, why is Krishna asking for Pashupata here is Pashupatastra is from Shiva, and Shiva is the destroyer of the worlds. He is the Layakaraka. There is nothing that can stop Pashupatastra. You beg, borrow, do whatever it is in front of it. When a Pashupata is used, it would destroy, because that's the function of Shiva there. So it is not that one person is higher, one person is lower. Please understand, Brahma is the Srishtikarta. So when you are using a similar astra on both the sides, they nullify each other and they stop. Vishnu is a Sthitikarta. He has to run the world. That's the job, because there are no three people. No, all of them are the same, right? At the end of the day, we are these three are one Bhagavan showing himself in three forms. No, so as a Sthitikarta, if you are doing Dasoham, if you are surrendering, he is going to take care of you. But as the Layakarta, as the man who brings out Pralaya, when the time comes, when that Astra is used, that Astra is not going to spare anyone. So, Krishna, look at the wisdom that Krishna is bringing in here. He is saying, Oh Arjuna, go get that Pashupatastra, because in a war, you need a weapon that would do its job and come back. So that is what he told. And again, in today's parlance, if someone from L&D is listening to this, we can also say that, Arjuna Krishna is talking about continuous learning here. Okay. And then we all know about Durvasa Maharshi's episode. Saying this, Krishna would go again. Again, Krishna would come back when Durvasa Maharshi comes near the Pandavas. Durvasa Maharshi, when he comes, Duryodhana actually does a. I mean, she does once when Duryodhana finds Durvasa Maharshi, he will take him to the kingdom. He would do all sorts of good Raja Maryada and all. And then after he does all the good things to Dhritarashtra, when Dhritarashtra asks for a boon, sorry, when he does all this to Durvasa Maharshi, when Durvasa Maharshi is extremely happy, he says, ask for a boon and I'll give it to you. Now Duryodhana wants to harm Pandava, so he says, go to Arjuna, go to Yudhishthira, and take and take their Atidhya also. Um, uh, then Durvasa comes with 10,000 people, and on that day when Durvasa Maharshi comes, by that he comes post lunch. Just then Draupadi Ma would have had her food, and the Durvasa Maharshi comes to Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira and says, I want to have food in your place. So kindly provide me with food. I am going to. I and my 10,000 of my disciples have come. So we are going to the river to take bath and come back. By the time have the food ready. That day, Draupadi has eaten the food, so nothing more is coming out of Akshaya Patra. She's almost about to. She has also cleaned it. She wants to keep it back. Then she again prays to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna comes back, and then he says, "See if there is even a small particle of food that is left in that." Then Draupadi again searches. She does not find anything. But when Krishna searches, he finds a small 1 or 2 grains of rice which is left there. He eats it, and because he is the Paripurna Avatara, he has all the Brahmandas in him. He says, Triptasma. Triptasma means I am happy, I am satisfied with the amount of food given. Now, when he says that, the entire universe's stomach gets full. Durvasa Maharshi's stomach is also full. Now, Krishna says, Yudhishthira, go and get Durvasa here. Yudhishthira goes to the river and says, Oh, Maharshi, come, you can have food. Then the Maharshi says, No, 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 my stomach is full. I understand that there was some hidden meaning in someone sending me here. And he blesses Dharmaraja, Pandavas, says your Aranyavasa will happen happily, and from there Durvasa Maharshi leaves. Now, Krishna, now Dharmaraja is back. He thanks Krishna profusely, and now Krishna says one wonderful word, and with that, that's where we see the almost the last of Krishna's advices in Aranya Parva. Here Krishna is saying, and this is the 263rd Adhyaya, 44th shloka. Dharma nityastu mekechin te sidanti karhichit apruche wo gamishyami niyatam bhadramastuvaha. Apruche wo gamishyami niyatam bhadramastuvaha. So he's saying anyone who is following dharma, they will never be afflicted by anything. So follow, be on the path of dharma, and you will be protected. This is the, I think, dharma rakshati rakshitha. That one line we are able to see a reflection of it in what Krishna is also saying, right? And so he's saying, you are on the path of dharma, you'll always be blessed. With your permission, I am taking leave now. So this is what he says, and then Krishna goes to Dwaraka, and then he comes back again in the Udyoga Parvas, where he comes and helps Pandavas. So all that we'll be seeing in our next session, which will be mostly happening next month. But before that, if any one of you have any questions, I would be more than happy to take them. If there are no questions, then we can call it a day. I'll take the silence as a know that you are not having any questions. So with that, we will close the session. We'll do a small Shanti mantra and then we'll close it. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunatmane Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Ramachandraya Mangalam Ramakrishnaya Mangalam Gurudevaya Mangalam Sadgurudevaaya Mangalam Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhraktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sarvam Sri Swasti. Thank you. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. We are closing the session here. Thank you very much.